Summer Drinks with Ron. I'm Ron. Viewers. Gotta get some yard work done. Putting up a privacy screen. Multiple reasons. Gotta keep the dog in the yard. I've got a fence constructed right now. But Ted Jansen is a teddy bear, made-up breed, half Shih Tzu, half Bichon Frise. Essentially, according to the internet, they are assholes. And they said this breed will never stay. You might get them to the point where they stay in where you want them 97 times out of 100, but they said the other 3, they're just gonna look at you and then run. And so I just had to go check on him. I was a little paranoid that he might have escaped, as he's done a few times in the last week, because been upgrading the fence, so there has been some breaches he's been able to take tactical advantage of. Now I went out there all paranoid. I didn't see him. He was sitting in his chair curled up in the sun. I'm like, oh, well, you want to tell, like I said, he got out 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and you want to be like, look, you see, obviously you like sitting out here in the sun. You can do that if you stay in the yard. Just stay in the yard. But you can't sit there and reason with a tiny dog. They don't get it. He's going to sniff that fence line, and if he finds freedom, he's going to take it. So I need to get out there and rectify that. On the platter, the 1910 Fruit Gum Company. This record's got a great backstory. See up top, it was my dad's. It was one of the things you did in the day. Signed your record so people didn't steal your record. I took it to a buddy's house of mine in 1997. And I was showing him different shit like this. Be just great loops to sample for the rap stuff I was doing at the time. We were writing some songs. Apparently I left it. And I don't know, it's about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I get a message one day. My buddy's going through his record collection down in Iowa. And he sends me a picture of this and he says, this doesn't look like it belongs in my collection. Would this be yours? And I said, hot damn, that's mine, and that's amazing for 2 reasons. Number one, it made it over 20 years in someone else's collection and then found its way home, which is totally amazing. But 2, I had actually been on eBay the week before trying to find and purchase this album, because there was a stack that I left at another friend's house that burnt down 15, 18 years ago, and I thought this went with all my vintage AC/DC, but no, it showed back up, and I was trying to find it, couldn't find it. It's a tough to find album, so it was like, wow, that's the shit. And of course I'm enjoying the shit out of it. Great little piece of history. Cream ale on tap. Notice I have my shirt. Never underestimate. You get it, if you guys are hip with that the meme shit. You know what I'm talking about. The very mocked series of never underestimate shirts where they tell you to never underestimate, and then they cram together 2 random things that some algorithm obviously picked up about you from your browsing habits and information you've posted online, because they generate the image and then pitch it right to you, so you're like, oh, customized for me. But it's like, never underestimate someone named Janet who's also a Libra, and it's like, oh, very, very random. Never underestimate a guy named Carl who plays bagpipes. Like, oh, great. Never underestimate an Aquarius that likes bobcats. It's just the most random shit. So my wife asked me if I wanted one. I said, yes, I do. I want a never underestimate shirt. Never underestimate this guy. Never underestimate my stories. Maybe my storytelling ability. You can underestimate that all day long. I'm I ain't no Mark Twain over here. However, I also don't use the N-word, so, you win some, you lose some. But let me digress. I got a couple of great stories finish out before I go do my yard work. April 2nd. Not much for that day. You know what goes on April 1st, right? It's the April Fool's Day. So April 2nd, I come out for my lunch break and I get in my car. When I close the door, I look in my side view mirror and there's like another meme. This is the picture of Nicolas Cage with like the eyes up and the teeth. It's very off-putting. So I look in my rear view and it's like, oh God, Nicolas Cage. Like I didn't need that. Didn't need that at all. So I put it on Snapchat and was like, well, here's how my day's going. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'm digging it now. I left it until it eventually came off in the rain. But just last night, I finally found out, I was like, I've got a couple of customers that are like, they give you the old huckabuck. So I didn't know it could have been anybody. Last night, my sister-in-law tells me April 1st, she goes to work, comes home, gets up April 2nd. She's got this Nick Cage picture on her side view mirror. First thing she thinks, it's me. So she goes down and puts it on my car, thinking I did it to her getting revenge. Where in actuality, on April 1st, someone had put it on her car at work and she had somehow managed to drive all the way home from another town without seeing toothy Nick Cage GIF. To be perfectly nerdular. It's a GIF, apparently. But, yeah, she made it all the way home without seeing it. Didn't realize till the next day, pinned it on me. I thought that was great. I got the picture, I got the backstory. It's a 2-for-1. Oh, it's great. But it reminded me of another story. I was in a fantasy football league years ago. Oh, shock. But my, mascot, so to speak, was Trogdor, the Burninator. If you're familiar with, mid-90s or mid-2000s Flash animation, you'll know all about Homestar Runner and Trogdor, the Burninator. But if you're unfamiliar with it, as a lot of people, not a lot of people, one guy in our league was, you might think that maybe it was a crudely drawn thing that I made myself to be my mascot. And that's what he thought. So I got to the draft one year, and he comes up to me, and I didn't really know this guy well. He's the one guy in my 10-man league who I didn't know. We needed a replacement. He's a cool guy, but he wasn't like a guy that had no backs. So he comes in, and a big grin, he's like, he'd been to some, like, hippie music festival. I can't remember what he called it, but he's like, how'd you like, hippie sniff fest, or whatever it was. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. What's that? Well, you were at the fucking jam band thing in Eau Claire or Chippewa Falls or somewhere, right? And I have no idea what you're talking about. And his face just goes white, and he's like, well, I was walking through the parking lot with some buddies, and I saw this car, and it had your dragon on the back window. And I was like, oh my God, I know this guy. So I left you a note. And I was like, wasn't me, didn't get no note. And he went, oh my God. I was like, why? What kind of note? And I just took a pen and I wrote, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I put it on there, like, what? You just went to some stranger's car and threatened to kill them with a note at some hippie gym? Like, this guy probably came back, like, tripping like a boatload of Jerry Garcia acid, just like barely made it back to the car without having a fucking total mind collapse. Then he walked in, saw a note that he probably panicked thinking was the secret police after him, and then instead thinks he's now being hunted to be murdered by some, I don't know. But just, oh my God, he panicked. Quit threatening to murder people, man. You need a little more go on than that. So anyway, I do not trust my dog, so I'm going to get out there and make sure he hasn't sprung the fence and run to the garage sale across the street to sniff women in inappropriate places, as he sometimes likes. So, for Drinks with Ron and the great psychedelic intro to a banging track that I'm going to cut off on you, the 1910 Fruit Gum Company and a cream ale from the Triumvirate of Taps here at Third Generation Brewery. I'm Ron, signing off.